to Seti is he's going to get eliminated as well.
No, fuori sette cani. Godo. Quanto ci godo fuori cani sette.
But starting off the major finals 0-1 in favor of Akira.
Praticamente il suo team Akira, Kodasai e Sweet, signor Starby, si sono qualificati dall'Last Chance perché le X sono stati griffati da un altro team polacco perché non volevano farli qualificare perché contestavano canistetti.
Bella storia.
Adesso gli hanno dato il cazzo.
But shifting things on over here in Seaport City, we do see the map has in fact
sono nella mappa quella che si...
Yeah, we talked about this. Were they really going to drop at Kappa Kappa Canyon, or are they going to go back to their roots as we head back on over to the brutal boxcars as Mappy Cringe
metti la mappa campagna.
I'm trying to see in terms of elimination advantages though. Kane does have an elim, so although in terms of heals, in terms of shields, they don't look too healthy, they do have that player advantage. But Uik has got to be careful as Teeny has gone down, but it doesn't matter because Skavi and Haris have finished this fight off at Shogun's Solitude.
And the nice thing about those eliminations taking place at Shogun's, they're so far southwest, so far out of the rest of the action. They have got to be quick still with making this reboot play for Teeny because there could be trouble on the horizon brewing from that bird location. Caught a glimpse of it just now. But Savage's trio is bound to have caught wind of what just took place at Shogun's.
Oh yeah, looking at
quelli contro questi qua.
Each other and Savage dropping so close by could be an opportunity for them to get some tags, especially if these fights take longer than expected. As we look at Predator right now on the elevated position here, trying to crouch around to see if they can get a sneaky angle on
metti pronto che tanto te la devi caricare.
Can be enough.
Infatti ti deve caricare tutta, ti deve caricare la mappa.
I like this positioning right now though from Fradaj and Radion. They're also trying to keep
aggiornamento
a viewpoint on that mountain range. Make sure that no one is trying to party this exchange either.
Mio amico lui.
Knows that it is very easy for the likes of any of those mountain teams to essentially scroll on over, but
fino all'ultimo
also just so patient.
Anzi è difficile che si affrontino
Finding
all'inizio.
eliminations, Takada could be trouble.
Yeah, in the early game, it's all about efficiency, right? And these trios are using up a lot of time for this battle. Looking at Frantic, Kaisers, and Dynus, this trio actually that Rax is going against, it's their first FNCS major finals, so a lot of pressure is on the line, which is why they might be playing a little bit more scared per se. As we look at Lushi here, who looks like, in terms of Pixovsky and his trio at Hopeful Heights, I was wondering how this engagement would play out. But so far, a fight is going to be commencing. Onimask is going to be attempted to escape, but with just 21 HP, I'm not sure if it's going to be enough to get out. But the good news is at least one player made it.
Surely Lushi, Loki, and Monet, though, are not content with allowing Adams to survive in that scenario. It'd be a lot more likely to anticipate potential camping of those reboot cards instead. You know it's a solo, you know he's going to be really easy to pick off, but they might not even give him the chance. In fact, Lushi, Loki, Monet, all too easily closing in. They've already got one. Going for the full eliminations, not possible just yet. Managed to hide behind the body, but Monet closes that gap, no problem with those Oni
Ma ci sono nomi mai visti, Angelo?
Left to go.
If they can get a bit of space here. So interesting, the whole battle that's commencing on the east side of the map. I mean, there's at least 3 or 4 trios contesting each other back to back. So it really just comes down the third party in these engagements and staying up. And look,
eccolo Vico che caglia, guardalo, guardalo.
Vico, Vandal, Flixie already getting aggressive as they look for a wall retake here. Any option to get those couple eliminations to start this one off.
This is huge, though. This is not a place that you would necessarily expect to see Vico, Veno, and Flixie so soon. Almost team now doing what they can to try and survive. Nearly getting a peek, but he's gonna whiff. Doesn't get the shot that he needs onto Vico. And Vico still continuing to hammer away with that pressure. Wants to ensure that Uppel has his options for escape cut off.
No full commits are coming through. As you can see, Veno is still playing fully elevated, even looking at the surroundings, trying to kind of push away any potential third party as Fennec is trying to get shots, as they kind of just take these back and forths and somewhat of a soft engagement, not fully committing yet.
Finchek knows he's got to be able to provide some sort of supportive measures here, especially once one of his teammates gets so cracked, but Vico, just so healthy, can continue to apply so much pressure against Finchek, trying to get this right side peak angle opened up here. Instead, going to look for a reposition.
Minchia, ma sono già pieni di mazzi. Ma come cazzo?
Tango with the mix, Clownski and Moneymaker, and they're cutting off positional options right now for Veno.
Minchia, hanno riassaltato Clown.
È vero, il
It's
doppio.
going to be tragic for the leading trio going on into this match, as Veno is going to do a good job of regrouping. This was key. Veno was staying up top, elevated the whole time, so he could see this third party come through, which gave him that time to react. And it looks like Vico might have even been able to take out Clown. I saw a big pump shot come through, but no knocks, no eliminations yet as they continue to go on up.
From
Sì, ma
Hunter
guarda
to
quanti
Hunted,
sono,
Clownski just
sono
barely gonna manage to escape
ancora
with his life, but it
81
might
sono.
just be a
Ma sono in
temporary relief.
terzetti, non
Vico
ho
already
capito.
looking to give
Sì,
chase.
sì,
Moneymaker
sono.
incredibly low as well.
sì,
What
perché ne ho
initially looked
visti
like
tre in
such
alto.
a promising option for
Ancora questi
Surge
pigliano il
has now
cazzo.
turned entirely against them.
grandissima dose di
Veno,
cazzi da
Flixie,
Vico,
Vico
ovviamente.
just continuing with their onset of a barrage up against the likes of Moneymaker's team.
Now looking to see if they can get any connects with the AR. They're not in zone, but this isn't an issue for this trio. The good news is they are going to kind of disengage a little because they've already gotten so much damage, not only from that initial pump, but from the trades they had before in that engagement. So no need to kind of continue the pursuit, as now they can refocus up on getting back into zone.
Atmos Surge, wouldn't be surprised to see them even venture back towards Flooded Frogs. They are
Minchia, siamo
fairly
alla seconda
notorious
safe,
for
già si stanno a
liking
fightare come i
to double
cani.
back to their starting
sì.
point, just knowing how much loot
c'era,
is likely
adesso
still
sto
left
dopo.
over.
sì,
Noms and Rezoi, though,
Ah, prima?
kind of holding
Alla prima in
strong.
assoluto
They've got
questo.
fishing rods, Takata, but with the way that the
Vedi,
zone
vedi,
is pulling, it
Naco,
might be difficult for them to
Tyson
actually
già hanno
find
fatto come ti dicevo.
opportunities to
Prendere
actually
i
get
tag.
those fish online, because teams already situated deeper inside of the zone are bound to try and hold edge when they
Minchia,
know
ma
that
la
there's
seconda
large
safe
approaching
già
for
fa
other
ste
teams to
robe
fish
qua, minchia, quando
On the other
mazzo
side,
fa.
you got
sì,
trios
minchia, il
like
Surge,
Pace
vedi
and
che
Trulex
alto
and
nelle
Chicho, who
campane.
don't have to worry about being in zone
Devi
because they're so
dire un sacco di
central
tag,
on the
un
map
sacco.
already. This is a trio that have consistently,
muori.
like mentioned, was leveling, gotten to the
Trulex
top
è solo.
10. They can make it to end games. They've
No,
got their
Trulex è
surge
con
strategy
Tyson.
down. They've got their
è
rotates
andato a
down.
fare-
Nel
But it's all
frattempo,
about
sì, lui nel
improving
frattempo che è sopra
that
la torre, lui
endgame
che stagga,
playstyle,
lui
being
cerca
able
le
to
cure
secure the
per
win. Not
Sì,
only
per
making
farlo
it,
tipo
but getting
taggare.
what truly matters to take
li
home
fai
a
materiali,
trophy in
tipo.
a major finals of this caliber.
Che questo è un po'
Metti salta,
Another team,
Angiole,
though,
che gli
that's
faccio vedere la
really been the talk of the
mappa
town as of
Andrea.
late. Wax
Campagna.
specifically, just recently having moved directly towards France, so now he's actually going to be in a zero ping location, and zero ping Wax has been delivering Takata. It has been impressive to see the way that his overall performance has seemed to really
Alla
just
fine Malibuca
shut
non
to
è
the roof
venuto a
as of late. And
rompere i
that's not to
coglioni,
say that he was doing poorly before either. I mean, Ping and Malabuca, with those guys by his side, this is a trio that seems like it's really firing off in all the right ways in every direction.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna love to see this trio get fraggy in endgame. As, you know, having on-contested
giocava
night
con
shift
Kiri.
and so many trios fighting in the surrounding area, they're gonna kind of look for those third parties, get that early game surge, but we'll see how that continues
Andata per
forward as
Mono.
now Sky, Scroll, and iDrop might
Minchia, da
be in, I was gonna say a
complessivo.
pickle, but it
Danno
seems like
quattro
they are
splash
actually the
severine.
aggressors in this
Questi hanno
situation,
vinto
as
il
Monet
game,
and
questi.
Lucy who are kind of trying to run away here.
The problem for Lucy and Monet is that they opted for such a deep south approach to third party the teams at Hopeful Heights that now they're making an approach that has to push directly into where Scroll, iDrop, and
Perché
Sky
Scroll non
already
scherza,
have the
no?
luxury
Secondo me
of
pure loro
setting up to
possono
cut them
vincere.
off in advance.
Fortissimi
So with
loro.
that in mind, iDrop, Sky, Scroll, they're just going to
Vedi,
keep
già c'è il
probably
Surge che-
following
che
this
hippa.
edge of zone as long as they know that there's a team
beh,
back
sì,
there
se non muore
continuously having to take more and more of those steady ticks of zone or storm. It's just going to
Minchia,
pose
morto
even bigger
ZM.
issues for Lucy's team that are going to be all too easy for iDrop to capitalize on.
Yeah, and not only that, they need to reboot their trio, right? They
Team
need to get
Day
another
One.
member back in the game, so finding a way to not only get back into the storm, but have an opening to bring your trio back with eye drop, Sky, and Scroll. Just looking back at zone is going to be incredibly difficult. I even see Pixie, Marius, and Vanya here on the other end looking quite healthy here.
Cat Matt's definitely a really solid position to be, especially hanging out around here. Mass Meadows can't say the same though for Money Maker. Just watched his demise there in 4K. Gudenbreed now trying to do what he can to survive, keep these Lobby 1 dreams going, but Wax, Malabuka, Ping, they know exactly how easy this is.
Gudenbreed is done for. Not a single chance of getting out of the Dragon sight. Malabuka walks Ping, gonna clean that one up incredibly fast. And just like we were mentioning previously, now that Malabuka not only had all the loot from Night Shift on Con, they were able to find 3 eliminations going, whether it be a third part or even just hunting down a trio. And now they can play on congested side. They can get to the late game looted, and they can start getting fraggy when they need to. As we switch on over to Mr. Savage, Mongrel, and Panzer, who also already have 1 elimination on the board.
Elevated position though on the mountain span that overlooks Canyon Crossing. And one big thing for Mr. Savage is that coming out of Bird uncontested, they're going to have to make up for that surge elsewhere.
Oh, fight contro Mongrel di Vax. Se lo sta facendo, se lo fa.
Savage now going to see if he can help out Mongrel. Has to be careful. Do anything you can to rebuild hard builds here to keep Mongrel alive. Apply the pressure onto the opponents, onto the aggressors. Give Mongrel time to recuperate his shield. And just like that,
Apri subito il paracadute, Andrea, ti faccio vedere.
in as well. This is perfect for Mr. Savage, Mongrel, and Panzer. With a little bit more time to breathe, now they can recuperate the shield that they have lost.
Things still don't look great though for Panzer. Mr. Savage, really the only one that's relatively healthy. He's trying to get a big chunk out of Pradage HP and does succeed. Pradage now realizing the kind of dire measures he's in, doing what he can, dropping as much as possible. Knows that he needs to create a little bit of space here, needs a chance to try and regroup with the rest of his team, but Mr. Savage, Panzer, Mongrel, they need to close this one out. The issue is Mongrel just doesn't have whites that he can recuperate with, and now they're drawing a little bit too much attention.
No whites, no knocks, and as you were alluding to at the bottom right of the map, you can see a whole other trio is getting closer. They're hearing the noise, they heard the shots and saying, you know, I'm interested, I need some damage.
Guarda, vieni allo stadio,
here?
scendi qua, va,
As now,
senti,
they're
allo
gonna have
stadio,
to
guarda.
quickly decide what's the play here. We need to
allo
find
stadio.
whites. We need to get to a safe location so we can recuperate the shield we've lost. It's not worth it to stay aggressive.
They also just don't have mats, and they spent so much time taking that fight on the mountain. They're burning through their mats, and yet there's no bodies for them to loot. They didn't find those eliminations that they needed, those crucial refreshes. So their mid-game now looking a little bit worse, but it's not something that they can't recover from. It's just they know that there's going to be a fight that they're going to have to commit to at some point soon.
Non ci arrivi allo
Marius
stadio.
taking full advantage
Ti voglio
of
fare
the
vedere
advantage
i
Shogun's
cuori.
Arena has to offer.
We've talked about this Rift Island that has Shogun's Arena on it. Not only are you able to get the medallion if you take down the boss, if the zone does end up closing around this arena, you get free moving zones where you don't have to use mats. You get a 360 first class ticket to the whole lobby in terms of looking for surge tags. You have so many openings, you get so many advantages. So being able to hold on to that island is very beneficial as we go back on over to Queasy, Swizzy, and Merstash, who are still inside of Hopeful Heights.
And for this trio, there were such high expectations, conned or unconned. When it comes to an IGL like Queasy, people just expect him to be able to manifest greatness from anywhere,
Lo sai che ci sono pure i quartieri
after that
spagnoli
global
lì.
championship performance, arguably one of the only individuals in this lobby that was able to
Lui
do the
è
contentious run
napoletano,
for that first
Se tu
place
guardi che ci
position.
sono
And
tante
here he
cose.
is again, trying to make it all happen, all odds against him, and he will never care.
Madonna che zona.
Hope to see that continue forward in the
Game
late
vincono
game.
loro,
Between
secondo me
Sky,
si vede.
Sky and Skrull. Now this is a trio that has an
Game vincono loro,
uncontested
secondo me.
kind of split right by a bunch of other trios
Una
that
zona
are contested.
bellissima.
And seeing how quickly they can
non
kind
so
of
tanto
moving their
all'inizio.
drop spot to instantly looking for a third
Ah,
party.
sei
It gives them
andato.
kind of
Ma
that advantage of having
relativamente,
so many
perché-
openings for
ma mi si
tags
blocca
that now
la
they're
mano.
in a
Proprio in
position where
back,
they're
non c'è
630 above
nessuno,
Surge.
sono
They're in a
200
good
sopravvissuti.
uncongested side of zone, and they can play incredibly safe, but Shark on the
Merda,
other end
Shark.
is gonna pick up a knock,
Fondolini.
was below Surge, now instantly bumping himself up 267 above. Zandy's cracked, Ju is cracked, Shark is the only player that even has a sliver of shield, as now they have to take some time to recuperate it.
But Pixovsky, he's recognized the fact there's another team on higher elevation that's still
Perché ci
choosing to
fa giù
spray
adesso?
into the box fight that's taking place right in front of his face. Shark aligned with this team yet again, hoping, but it's Rads who's in the real
Dov'è che
pressure
senti che ti
mountain,
possa prendere?
trying to scramble around these edges,
Questo
and he
è
manages to
fermo.
finally break into the box, but Ju
Dove?
doing everything to make sure that he doesn't
Dimmi
go down
dove.
just yet.
56 below, doing what they can, but the
Dimmi
shots
dove
coming
che
through.
ti
Triple
possa
spray is
prendere.
just too strong. You gotta keep holding your
La
build. The
macchina.
shots are slipping through. Water sprite
Molto
now
veloci,
being
molto
forced.
rapido.
Ci vediamo
Starts
noi qua allo
taking
stadio.
and not even being in zone with the pressure being
No,
applied back
no,
onto
San
them.
Paolo.
Pixovsky
San
and his trio have to find a way
Ma
to get
sempre
out, but it's
controllo agli
Vendo,
altri.
it's Flixie, it's Vico. The trio
Molto
in
da
the zone is
Malibu.
applying that
Ah,
pressure. This is
Malibu.
going to be absolute chaos.
And Flexi, they need this. They were just below Surge as well. You can see
sono
the
morti
charges
anche i
in their
polacchi.
HP bars. But Flexi,
Quei
he just needs
coglioni
to
che
find
li
another shot to
contestano.
connect. Finally going to be 37 above. Veno knows, though, they can't stick around for too long. They're going to get lobbied if they don't position elsewhere and finally managing to work their way in. But they are definitely looking pretty tough here, Takata, and with a healthy Mr. Savage on the horizon,
Delle
who's
teste
also
di
likely
cazzo
desperate for a
queste,
fight.
veramente.
Yeah, you don't want to be held here. If I'm Veno, Flixie, Vico, I want to make sure to recuperate that shield, get myself into zone, and then look back and take
Minchia,
shots at
Veno,
all
Flixie
these
e Vico
trios, all
sotto
these
di
players
Surge.
that are going to be staggered, rotating in on
Puttana.
late. And now that they've elevated themselves closer to the zone, it should bring some openings to do that needed damage, but they are still 60 below.
It's a hard decision to make. Flixie just continuing to look back, spray the teams that they had
Non spararmi,
already gotten in front
cretino, ma
of.
che
Mr. Savage
cazzo
though,
di
looking a little bit
cretino,
too split from the rest of his team. Mongrel as well, trying to see if he can escape.
È
Veno
incredibile come
holding
le
it down
Grams siano
inside
dei
of the
game
tunnel,
in
but
cui ci si
first
sta
and foremost,
magari
he's got a date with
impressionando.
Mr. Savage, maybe directly underneath this box. Instead, no, continues to just
Ho
hold
battuto
down this
Viro
route,
dopo.
hold down this escape path because he wants to reunite instead. He wants to get out. This is not a good choke point for them to fight in.
Panzer.
Valentine's
Most
Day was
of them
yesterday.
are
Today's
Ah,
not
sì,
the day to
basta
go on a
che sa-
date, as Panzer now is left
muore,
alone as a
muore.
duo alongside
Panzer,
Mr. Savage. All the
morto,
builds that
morto,
blocked
morto.
them off is not going to give Panzer the time to make it back into zone. It's now a 3 versus 1. Can Mr. Savage get
Mi
out of
voglio
this
ora ci muore
situation against the
Savage.
most fierce trio in the lobby?
Veno needs this too much. He's not going to let
Molto
Savage
breve.
escape, and sure
Yes.
enough,
Molto
Panzer
Savage.
elimination comes through. Veno just continuing to break some of these old metal walls from behind him and grab the mats, take full advantage of all the goodies left behind. And they're going to need them because with
Una
so much
trappola su quel
focus
cazzo di
now
tunnel.
being put towards
Cazzo
the
sì.
exit of this tunnelway, they're probably going to have to burn a
Vediamo di
decent
quella
amount of mats.
situazione come messa.
Looking over at Chino Nebs and Pink.
Che ha vinto ancora Dio
Also,
Best
further
Fallissimo,
away
guarda
from
quanti
zone,
mazzi
long
c'hanno.
rotate ahead of them, almost no materials put into shambles. They need to
Minchia,
fortify
Adesito
all or
vivo
nothing.
ancora.
They look to get inside the box. They need to
Sto
get those
Adesito,
connects. Nebs
spagnolo,
goes down.
non
It's
ci
all
sono
up to
anche
Chino
tutti,
and Pink.
cioè,
Now the
proprio
knock
non
goes
è
through, but
una-
it's not enough for the knock. Pink
non
left
è
has a
RS
solo
qualificato
to
in
finish
grande
this
questo.
one off. Can he do it? As another shot comes through, the edit from the ramp causes him to take down one. One more player is left, but his duos, his team are getting eliminated one by one, and now it's 2 solos that have to make it back.
At this point,
Italia,
Pink has essentially got to play it out as
E lo
if
sai, in
he's
questo game
just a
lo
solo
vincono
for the
Sky,
remainder of this lobby. He might be able to
Stroll e
survive
Hydro.
an okay mat refresh, but Podesai lingering just behind.
Che erano
He's gonna
quelli che
opt for
avevano
blind TP
fatto
instead. He
la
knows that there's
struttura
still
là.
one other contender to
Sì,
deal
sì.
with, and Adesito, Water
Ma sono
Sprite
ancora
gonna buy
in
him a little bit more shield as well. but
Credo siano in
he's in no
testa.
position to really look for any opportunities to get surge. He's going to have to depend on the 271 above that he's holding onto right now, and so many players already boxed in way better positions are bound to pinpoint that this solo is way too separated, way too easy to pick off.
Be careful though, on the other
Morto
end,
Vico.
Venom Flixie, they've lost Vico. Venom
Merda.
goes down as well.
Morto
The top
Veno.
trio, everybody had their eyes on them going into this
Oddio.
lobby. Flixie, the focus is on him as he goes down as
Morto
well in 8
Flixie.
zone before securing
Merda,
basically
chi l'avrebbe mai
any
detto?
placement points. Will
qua cambia tutto, eh.
devastating for the trio, or can
Qua
they make a
cambia
comeback later?
tutto.
Ah, Angelo, queste sono
Secured.
partite
Per loro,
che
per
non
loro
si
fare
sa.
in game 0 punti equivale a già
Adesso ne
vinto,
può.
I mean, enough
tanto.
rotate
No, non
capability
essere
to make
fuori,
it so.
a poter
This is actually huge for
non
Pink. The
vincere.
fact that he's got
Nel
this
senso, per
mythic
vincere sto
void
torneo
Oni
non ne
means that he's
devi,
going to have more
non ne devi
charges than the
saltare
rest of the
manco uno
lobby to
game,
play
cioè
around
devi
with as
fare
far
tutti
as his
anni
teleports are
praticamente,
concerned.
va.
He can continuously choose to commit towards a frontside low position,
Permette
unlikely
fai
that he'll
un
be
sacco di
able to
win.
actually make a realistic charge for height, just because teams that play up there are going to be obviously trying to focus out the solo in the lobby, but he's doing an excellent job at buying his team more placements.
Yeah, he can even use kind of the recycled builds now of the players, the trios
Madonna,
up in
rihanno
front of him
sopra di
rotating in.
così.
As we look at a replay of how Venom,
Minchia, c'è
Flixie, and
Malibuga che ha
Vico
7
did end up
kill.
getting eliminated. They were just going for a
Non
fight
so
that
che
got
Malibuga.
third partied, with so
Sono
many trios
DC.
having the eyes on them. As now,
Queasy Knight.
look at high ground. I saw Queasy and his trio looking for it, but we're gonna keep our eyes on Ping, Malibuga, and Walks. Over 1,000 above Storm Surge. Look at the elimination count on this trio. Are you kidding me? They are ready to make something happen.
Yeah, the only reason they're not on high ground yet is because they chose not to
Quindi
go
si
for
vede
it.
una stazione.
And they're fully aware of what they're capable of when playing through the low ground layers.
pure loro non
Likely looking to
scherzano,
just enter a challenge for height with as
Queasy?
much material as possible,
sì.
because knowing that Queasy is in
Queasy
your
già
lobby
vinto
is going to
Touch.
change
Già
entirely
ha vinto
minchia.
3 MCS,
these height takeovers.
ne ha vinte 2 in
There's a
Europa e
guarantee
una in
if the
Asia.
Queasy's gonna be up in the
prima
clouds with
giocava in Asia
Merstash
perché
and
era
Swizzy,
russo.
they're gonna be looking down, they're gonna be shooting second height, they're gonna be controlling that elevation. You can see them already claiming different elevations, claiming different angles, applying pressure onto all the other potential trios that might want to take it, as I drop Sky and Scroll now choosing to play more in the dirt here, but they're not the only trio.
This makes sense though. They're just trying to control the front side of low. We've seen them do this numerous amounts of times throughout the Division Weekly Finals, and one more time they're trying to see if it can be the catalyst for their game plan here. Being Malibuga Walks though, they're looking to meet head on anyone that dares try and challenge them for the low ground. Malibuga getting some excellent sprays, and
Madonna, li stanno
unfortunately for
triturando,
Sky
poveri Sky
Scroll and
Scroll.
iDrop, they've got everybody looking at them, everybody shooting them down.
All eyes on them. The pressure has been applied. Great play from Malibuga, Walks, and Ping, just trying to focus them with the triple spray as much as possible. As the
Queasy
Moose now,
Knight. Vabbè,
I'm
vince
not
Queasy,
sure if his
speriamo.
trio's up, but this could be tragic as he's second height, no shield, and getting
Manca
sprayed by
Marius,
Queasy's
yeah.
trio. Vanya, Marius,
Sì.
Pixie, though, from making it through in the last chance qualifier
Quattro
to
kill.
now. Already starting
Il
off
Marione.
strong, going to make an impact in the finals, but Malibuga is going to go down.
Molto
They're looking
Malibuga.
so strong.
Da Sky.
All the loot, the eliminations
Attenzione.
they had, but it's all up to Ping and Walks.
And Ping knows he's
Sky.
gotta wait to reunite
Oh, yeah,
with
yeah,
his
I'm gonna
teammate before he can
chill.
opt
Yeah,
to
yeah,
use the
what
last
the
of their splashes. I drop similar position, 6 splashes. If anybody can get this elimination onto him, it could be massive. Instead, he's trying to burn through, trying to make sure that he can shift just one layer higher, just one
Mandino,
placement
dove
further.
stai?
That's
Sei
really all it
dentro?
boils down to.
Trying to scavenge
Andino.
every
Molto
last point
Dyson.
possible. Shug splashes in the loadout to make something
Andino.
happen. We can see
Poi
high ground
caricamento
is still steady.
avanti,
Ping, Walks, continuing to play as a duo as they pick up more eliminations. They're not finished yet as the shots come on to CZB. No other elimination yet, but they find Trulex, they find Chicho, and they want to finish.
And the problem now for Trulex and Chicho is they've been held back. Walks gonna get taken out.
Madò.
Ping trying to see if he
Cosa
can get a
sto
little bit of
vedendo?
revenge. Chicho will fall. Win condition might have just been thrown out the window there for Tayson's trio, but Ping, with that mad refresh, he continue to try and play a little bit out of sight, a little bit out of mind. Hope that
Vabbè,
he actually
Merstash
gets more time.
è andato giù a prendere kill. Mastino l'hanno sguinzagliato.
Closer to low ground, low on materials. iDrop as a solo, looking to find other ones.
Man.
Ijo gets caught off guard. Now a chance to play back of zone as Nathan, CZB, and Eclipse. They're not done either, but Nathan goes down.
CZB 3 small fry left to his name as well. No builds. He's just gonna
Cazzo,
have to
già,
hope
tre
that he
pesci
breaks through
sto
and
qua.
instead edits the wrong way because Marius was all too prepared.
Dimmi, amo.
Shutdown.
A full trio on low now as it's time for Queasy, Stash and Swizzy to start dropping down.
Sì, tanto è tutto pronto.
Going for a high double-digit elimination.
Olio, aglio, lo fai soffriggere, ci butti prima la carne e la fai rosolare, e poi ci butti le patate, e poi piano piano ci butti il brodo vegetale.
Buonasera, buonasera.
Pixie just getting absolutely shredded. Queasy reminding everybody that he's still got the ultimate height.
Ma mo era l'appuntamento, no?
Marius though has a chance if he can find an opportunity to connect here. Queasy doesn't necessarily have the greatest shotgun for those close exchanges.
Merstash looking to see where it is the advantage. All they need to do is
Siamo forti tanto.
just able to connect his shot. Can the turnaround come through for Marius? He tries to pop a mini, but they don't allow it. The shots come through on
Ma guarda quante
Merstash and Queasy.
Te l'ho detto,
taking home game 1 of the EU Major Finals.
From the moment that we saw them first look to tackle height, number 1 here Takada, it's already gonna start raising.
Stasera ci vediamo per le 9.
Sì, 9 e mezza, insomma.
Tanto
intanto startiamo, poi man mano si aggiungeranno le persone, sicuro.
Faccio un Milano.
Se l'ha messo il gioco in modalità riposo.
Minchia, c'è il Milano, zio
They had to make a decision. Do we go back to our original drop? Do we keep playing at Kappa Kappa? What does it matter? Trio is they are still the goats of high ground, and they are showing exactly why.
Sì, sa che ha saltato.
But hey, I also want to give a huge shout outs there to Vanya's trio because we saw something very promising in their second place finish here compared to the rest of their season is gone. So let's see what the Dash has to say.
No, giocate
Ma noi non
ragazzi.
stiamo
Mo-
giocando,
Thank you very
non
much,
stiamo
guys.
giocando.
I love it. We
No,
got
è
the
per team
Gentle
di
Mate
partita,
showdown
non di più,
again.
perché
These
lo
Gentle
so
Mates
fare.
players are delivering, I imagine.
Oh ragazzi, allora noi lasciamo, poi ci vediamo stasera.
Right
Ci
now.
spostiamo,
But
ci
Mini Minor,
spostiamo
were you
stasera.
feeling worried about Queasy?
Ciao belli, ci vediamo
So
stasera.
nice.
Ciao belli,
So
ciao.
true on that high ground.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just a classic build-up. I think it was late in the 8 zone there just to try and take that high ground, play out the materials. Swizzy and Mustache so impressive there in that end game. I think they had 5 eliminations
Allora, la
each.
classifica è la
And we always say,
seguente.
Eleven, when Queasy is in this
Beh,
position with
Dash Radio
materials, with high
e Razz
ground,
sono
it's only going to go
28esimi.
one way.
I mean, I am moved. I am